talk a little bit about Fat Loss 101, as most of you are looking to lose some body fat. And a way America goes around about it is typically wrong, and there's typically a lot of things, even the best intentions. You know, there's a lot of things that people are doing that are not working for them. And what the objective of this webinar is to really just put a simple strategy together and hopefully give you some insight of some basic concepts that are going to help you lose body fat without putting extra hours in the gym, without starving yourself, and throw out some of those old sacred cows of fat loss. So we're going to talk about fat loss versus weight loss. Notice I keep saying fat loss. Most people get focused on weight loss. I can't tell you how many people come in and say they want to get toned. And what getting toned really means, if you want to truly define that, is you're going to add some lean muscle and get rid of some body fat. Now, I have some pictures down below. The pictures down below on the left on the women there, that's women that weight train, and I've added lean muscle. Now, I don't think those women look like guys. Sometimes women say, I want to bulk up. I don't want to bulk up, and I don't want to look like a guy. But those women look far from guys. These are women that strength train. They have lean, toned physiques. That's what most women are shooting for. The woman on the right, she's not fat, but she's not lean and toned. She's skinny fat. And same thing with the guys on the right side, the two pictures. The one guy, yeah, he might look okay in some street clothes, but you know, you throw him down into his skivvies there, and he's not looking too toned. I mean, he's lean, he's skinny. You know, he's not fat, but he's not really toned, where the guy on the right is toned and lean. And that's what we're looking at, adding lean muscle. And nobody's going to look like a bodybuilder. Most bodybuilders take lots of drugs and do train, you know, exorbitant amounts, and they just train and eat a different way. Most of us that are going to just lift some weights and do some exercise, you know, these physiques that we're showing you are going to be a little bit more attainable than the extreme bodybuilder physique. And, you know, like I said, a lot of those pharmaceutical enhanced men and women both. With that being said, getting toned means adding some lean mass. And you know why? Lean mass is actually going to add 20 to 50 calories per pound to your metabolism. So your body actually has to burn calories to support lean mass. Muscle costs the body energy. So that's what the true definition of getting toned is. And we want to see that in our body composition versus the scale. The scale's a liar. I'll give you an example. When I did, you know, a couple of years ago, I did a physique competition, and I got down to really low body fat. I weighed 195. Well, after that was done, you know, my competition was done, and that night I went out for some Mexican food and celebrated, and I was weighing 195, and then I had some nice pancake breakfast to celebrate again in the morning, and got on the scale just to see what it would say. I went from 195 to 207 in a matter of less than probably 24 hours. Did I gain 12 pounds of fat? No, I didn't. A lot of it's water weight. In women, you're going to gain water weight with different times of the month. Hormonal changes are going to add that to you, as well as depending on what you eat. If you eat a lot of sodium for something, your body's going to hold more water. It's just simple as that. Another example I can give you is when I was doing body composition measurements on myself, I was doing underwater weighing, which is a popular method. I went over to a local gym, was doing body composition measurements on a weight tank, which is more accurate than calipers, and I was at 211 pounds, and I was at 11% body fat. Went back a couple months later, I was 207, so in my mind I was thinking, you know what, I'm 207, I was 211, I'm probably going to have a lower body fat percentage, but guess what, it was actually a higher body fat percentage. I was 207 at 14% body fat. You know why? Because I'd been slacking on my strength workouts. I'd lost muscle, and that had brought my body fat percentage up. So the weight I had lost from that 211 to 207 was not good weight. And so scale is not a good litmus test to being toned. Body composition is. So I probably looked leaner at that 211 at 11%, even though my scale weight was higher, versus that 207 at 14%. And so that's what we really want to use as body composition, because that's really a measure of how toned we are. And I just talk quickly about why do people yo-yo diet. Typically there's two reasons. A lot of people that just do dieting alone are going to lose weight, but they're going to lose muscle along with their fat. And remember I said muscle is 20 to 50 calories per each pound. It costs the body energy. So when you go into a starvation mode, you on one of these crazy diets, so something like the HCG diet, or like people were doing Atkins, and you starve the body, your body's going to look to conserve energy at some point. Your body's built for survival. It's not built for performance. It's built to survive. So its adaptation to less calories is it's going to get rid of things costing you energy so your body can survive on less calories. Well, guess what tissue costs it calories? Muscle tissue. And if you're not doing strength training and you're not eating adequate amounts of protein to protect your muscle, your body's going to give it up for energy because it can actually break muscle down and make it into energy. And so your body gets good at breaking down muscle, and it keeps fat for reserve, a lot of times for reserve sources. So you will lose some fat, but you lose some muscle, and you get that skinny fat look, which I'm, I wanted to have these pictures to show that at the bottom. So when we're looking at this, we want to look at actually losing fat and maintaining or adding lean muscle mass, and that's why I differentiate between fat loss and weight loss. There's a lot of diets out there that will lose weight, but it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you in muscle mass and strength. And when you have less muscle mass, your metabolism is lower. So if you fall off the diet plan, which most people do, you've lost 20 to 50 calories per pound of muscle. Just think if you lost 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, that could be anywhere from 200 to 500 pounds of, or 500 calories per day that you're going to not be burning anymore. So when you go back to eating, that's why you yo-yo back up quickly and gain a lot of times more weight than you had lost in the first place. So that's the big game changer. I know we had one client here years ago who was struggling with, had lost weight and had done strength training and decided to take 3 months off in the summer, just stop worrying about her food and stop strength training. We begged and pleaded with her to keep doing her strength training to maintain her muscle. She wasn't having any of it. She was going to take the month the summer off to be with her kids. Comes back 3 months later, 30 pounds heavier. And the one thing she hadn't done any strength training, and it was just huge to me to see that how fast it can come back. And muscle will go away quickly if you don't work to maintain it. So we want to make sure we're doing things to do that. Feed the muscle, starve the fat, we always say. Let's talk a little bit about fat loss exercise. Typically in the past, what have we done? We've done the old fat burning cardio. Get on a treadmill and walk at a moderate pace because we want to burn fat. Well, it's true that fat is the primary fuel source for that type of a workout if you're burn more fat. The problem is it doesn't really effectively stimulate the metabolism. And so what a lot of research has shown is higher intensity workouts, meaning you're going to be huffing and puffing, sweating more, heart rate's up, you get that lactic acid burn. Those are going to produce better fat loss results because you're not using fat as a primary fuel source during the workout, but it's the metabolic environment that you set up doing these type of workouts. So let's just talk about strength workouts. Strength workouts should not be sitting on machines, doing 10 reps, resting a minute, doing 10 reps. The old sterile Cybex or Nautilus workouts that people did. Strength workouts should be moving, circuit-type workouts, and using big movements. When I talk about big movements, I talk about squats, lunges, overhead pressing, combined movements where that use the whole body, like a squat to an overhead press. We call it a thruster or a push press. Kettlebell swings. Those type of things are awesome for creating what we call as an epoch effect. Meaning that you're going to do those workouts, you're going to sweat, you're going to be huffing and puffing, but two things happen with those type of strength workouts: is you're going to stimulate HGH, otherwise known as human growth hormone, and that is a hormone that helps you burn body fat. You're also going to stimulate catecholamines, which is other chemicals in your body that help burn body fat. So you're stimulating your fat burning hormones. And the epoch effect, number two, you see below there, is the afterburn effect. So you're going to crank up the metabolism so much during the workout that it's going to continue to burn at a higher rate 24 to 36 hours afterwards. It's like an afterburn effect. So your body's burning calories at an elevated rate long after the workout's over. You just don't get that from the old steady-state cardio. Not that I'm throwing that totally out the window. Steady-state cardio can be useful. I know some people just need that mental piece to go take a walk. Sometimes it's good if you're really sore just to flush the body out. But if you don't have a lot of time and you want maximum results, you got to focus on high intensity training. And typically, we like to do here, I'll give you an example. We'll do a set of squats, maybe a set of pull-ups, and a set of presses, and we'll do them in a circuit format with fairly heavy weights. And we'll do, metabolic circuits, maybe kettlebell swings with push-ups and a core exercise followed up by maybe sprints up a hill. Those are the type of exercise. Those are the type of strength workouts you want to be doing because they're going to train your heart to be stronger. You're going to get cardio benefit, but you're also going to get those metabolic benefits. And then when it comes to HIIT cardio, same thing applies here. Higher intensity is going to yield better results. Now the cool trade-off is here, you don't have to spend a lot of time. Just 10 to 15 minutes of good high-intensity work will do wonders. It creates that hormonal environment. It does the same thing as a strength workout. It's another way to stimulate human growth hormone and catecholamines. And, a lot of people think of high-intensity work that they have to have a treadmill. Not necessarily. I put this woman swinging a kettlebell in there just to kind of prove a point. we use things where you maybe you're on a treadmill maybe initially or an elliptical, and you maybe go for a couple minutes to warm up, and then you jump off and you do some high-intensity kettlebell swings for 30 seconds to a minute, get that heart rate up, then jump back on and recover. There's also things called complexes where maybe you do kettlebell swings for 10 reps, you do kettlebell overhead presses for 10 reps, you do kettlebell squats for 10 reps, and then maybe do kettlebells with a row for 10 reps. So this is called a complex. You just never really let go of the kettlebell. It's like a circuit within a circuit. Another great way to stimulate your metabolism. You can do these even as we call metabolic finishers, as post-workout, during the end of the workout, do 5 to 10 minutes of intense cardio work, because once again, we're trying to stimulate HGH and EPOC down below, all those, the hormones and the metabolism at the same time. So the high-intensity cardio can be structured in different ways. That's one way you can do it. The other way is if you're just doing your regular cardio, and here's actually, I'll put a plug in for steady state. So you get in and you do 5 minutes of like the steady state to warm your body up, and then do some type of sprints. Now, if you can't run, you can do this on an elliptical, you can do it on a bike. It's just all relative to your fitness level, but you do 5 to 15 intervals, do 30 to 60 seconds of working at a high intensity, so like a sprint or a semi-sprint, or cranking it up on the stepper, or running a hill or something where it's going to challenge your heart rate, and then you do the same equal amount as time recovering. So if I did 30 seconds of sprints, I'm going to do a 30-second recovery power walk, and then maybe 30 seconds of sprint, a recovery power walk or jog, or maybe 30 seconds on the elliptical. I'm going to crank it up as fast as I can, and I'm going to go 30 seconds coming down to a slower pace, 30 seconds up, 30 seconds down. That's what a HIIT type workout works. Now, when you do a HIIT cardio, you're actually going to push fatty acids into your bloodstream, and so another good way to get rid of those fatty acids so they don't get reabsorbed is to do some steady state cardio at the end. Ideally, you want to do 20, 25 minutes, but if you don't have time, even 10 to 15 minutes of steady state, it's a good way to cool the body down and flush some of those fatty acids out of the system so they don't get reabsorbed. So HIIT cardio is going to be your best bang for your buck. And doing it a couple times a week. And if you don't have time, what if you say, well, I don't have time to do cardio and strength separate? Simple thing, like I mentioned earlier, metabolic finishers, is put a mini HIIT cardio at the end of your workout. So put 10 minutes of HIIT cardio in at the end of your workout, and it can be in all different shapes or forms. I know, a lot of times with our clients, we'll do, Tabatas, which is, 20 seconds of jump roping, 20 seconds relax, 20 seconds of jump roping, or maybe 20 seconds of kettlebell swings. It's a format. But it's just high-intensity work at the end of the workout, just once again to stimulate the right hormones and the metabolic afterburn effect. So that's how you want to structure your exercise. When it comes to fat loss nutrition, I'm going to talk about some different things that I think are really, really crucial. And 80% of people that struggle with weight loss, this is where 80% of the results are. So we want to be looking at these type of things in terms of having success. So the number one thing I see when I'm looking at food journals is controlling blood sugar spikes and insulin. When you spike blood sugar, when you eat something that has a lot of sugar or a processed carbohydrate, like let's say like a popcorn or chips or something, it might necessarily have sugar in it, but it breaks down quick like sugar. It's going to raise your blood sugar very, very fast. And what your body's going to do to try to control that is release a bunch of insulin. Insulin is a fat-storing hormone. So when you have a lot of insulin in your body, and if you keep spiking your blood sugar repeatedly, you have a lot of this hormone insulin, which is a storing hormone. You're going to be consistently in a storing environment. So you really have to get this concept down, because you have to get off the sugar, off the processed carbs, a lot of the breads, a lot of the cereals, I would say most of the pastas, those type of things. A lot of the starchy carbs out there are not very well made. They're made quick and cheap, and therefore they break down quickly. You need to get your carbs from the bins. If you're going to eat rice, eat it from the bins. If you're going to eat pasta, get the whole grain pasta that has some fiber and some protein in it versus just the plain white noodles. White things are going to be high glycemic. White popcorn, white rice, white bread, anything white pretty much you can guarantee is high glycemic. Even watch out for sugars that are hidden in things like yogurts and juices. I know people get really into juicing, but sometimes when you put juice out there, you take the pulp out of a fruit, and then you've got pretty much pure sugar. Dehydrated fruits like raisins and stuff, eating those things on their own, all those things are going to spike your blood sugar. So you really have to watch this, and you want to eat really good, whole grain carbs. Like I said, getting things from the bins, getting things that aren't in a box or a can, things that are more natural, and then making sure you're combining your meals with protein, because protein helps control blood sugar spikes, and as well as fiber as well, and even good fats. Good fats like avocados, nuts, those type of things. making sure you're eating those. You're never eating carbohydrates on their own. You're never eating just a bowl of rice or a bowl of cereal, or drinking a juice on its own, or, God forbid, going to like a Starbucks or something like that and getting those drinks on your own. Because when you do that, you send your blood sugar through the roof. And every time you spike your blood sugar, think about it this way. It takes probably about 24 hours for your body to recover from that. So if you're doing that once a day, every day, it's going to be really hard to make progress. It's kind of like spinning your wheels in the mud. So you have to really be on top of this. Number two, get your body into a rhythm. So often I hear people, their nutrition's all over the board. And think about it this way: when you start getting up at a certain time every day, a lot of times you don't even have to get up to your alarm. Your body just kind of figures it out. Same thing with nutrition. Is you got to make sure that you get your body into a habit. You're eating around the same times every day, eating similar things during the same times, and get into a rhythm. You know, a lot of people, they want to make it really hard, and they want to always cook and eat all these different things. But I'll tell you what, in our busy society, a lot of times the easiest thing to do, especially during the busy week, is to have a lot of the same things the same times a day. It's kind of boring, but you got to kind of sometimes make a decision. Do I want boring or do I want results? Most of us don't have time to cook a bunch of different gourmet meals, and so get into a rhythm of eating around the same times. If you have like appointments, block off time. Make sure you're planning time to eat, and you're getting that body into kind of a consistent rhythm. Most people come in, it's random. Sometimes they eat breakfast, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have a healthy dinner, sometimes they don't, and their body just never really their metabolism can never get into that rhythm. Number three is alcohol intake. Often I hear people talk about how good they eat good food, and then at night it goes, all goes downhill when they get into drinking a couple drinks at night. I can't tell you how many clients, when they've cut their alcohol intake out or back severely, they've lost weight just from doing that. The reason being is alcohol has empty calories. The calories, fats, carbohydrates, and protein, the calories from those nutrients, those macronutrients, can all be assigned roles. Alcohol calories the calories from alcohol really cannot be assigned roles. They really don't add any extra benefit to your body. And really, when you drink alcohol, it's just a lot like putting sugar into your body. The mechanics are really similar to the same, and alcohol will mess up your chemical balance and your hormonal balance. So it's not just the calories from alcohol, but it's the chemical and hormonal things that it does to your body. And I can think back, what does alcohol typically lead you to do? It's to eat. I remember going back in my younger days when we'd go out on the weekend, when we were done being downtown at the bars, we'd always want to go to Perkins to get pancakes, right? We're hungry after drinking beer all night. So just know that if you do like to have a few drinks, limit it to once a week. Ideally, if you're serious about fat loss, you have to get alcohol out of your system. If you're doing it on a regular basis, once again, it's kind of like the blood sugar spikes at the top. You're just going to be keeping your wheels spinning. Number four is drink half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 100 pounds, you want to be doing 50 ounces, which is about 6.5 glasses a day. Water is going to keep excess water weight flushed off your body, which can look like fat and can make you feel, kind of jiggly and not so toned. It also is going to help. The other key mechanism, which I learned a few years back, is that when you're well hydrated, your kidneys work well. And if you don't have enough water, your kidneys can't function without the help of the liver. Well, the liver, one of the liver's main jobs is fat metabolism. So when the liver doesn't have enough, when the kidneys don't have enough water, the liver kind of has to go over and compensate for the kidneys, and it can't focus on fat metabolism. Fat metabolism is readily. So keep that water coming in. It'll flush excess water out. It'll help your digestive health. We talk in our other webinar about digestive health, but keeping toxins out of the body is also key. Think about your fat-burning engine. It's got to be a well-oiled machine, and if you don't have all the fluids and everything at the right levels, the engine's not going to run as good. So I always think about, water's kind of like oil. It helps move things through the system, helps keep the system lubricated, but it also helps flush out those excess toxins and keep you regular, which will keep your stomach flatter and help you feel better, help your body absorb nutrients, keep the joints feeling good. Just can't say enough about water. It's the cheapest and most inexpensive nutrient there is, but it's also one of the best. Number 5 is getting plenty of sleep. People don't really associate this with weight loss, but there's been several studies that have proved the people that are sleep deprived typically have weight issues as well. The reason being is when you are sleep deprived, 2 hormones start to rise up, and that one is ghrelin, which is a hormone that tells your body you're hungry. So when you're not getting enough sleep and you're up longer, that ghrelin hormone, the I'm hungry hormone, is going to be higher in your body, and it's going to probably tempt you or make you feel like eating more. Your cravings are going to be higher. We all talk about willpower, but willpower only goes so far. And so we want to keep those ghrelin levels down and keep the leptin levels, which is the I'm full hormone, up. So we want to make sure that we're getting enough sleep, but also control cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Cortisol in high levels in your body, it's like dumping sugar into your bloodstream, and it's going to make you hungry. It's going to make you eat sugars and carbs because it's basically there. It's a fight or flight hormone, and when your body's feeling stressed, it basically is going to get sugar into your bloodstream to deal with the fight or flight it thinks it's having. And that cortisol levels being high, what that does is it prevents your body from burning fat as a fuel source because you have sugar in your system readily, so it doesn't really need to go to fat stores. And then it also keeps your body, it can also eat up muscle tissue. So we want to make sure we control cortisol, and that kind of leads me into number 6, is controlling stress. High levels of stress, not dealt with appropriately, will lead to cortisol levels spike. And that goes for exercise too. I should probably mention that too, is exercise is a form of stress in the body, so I would keep your exercise sessions to an hour or less. After an hour, your cortisol levels are going to rise and peak more. So if you're doing long marathon bouts at the gym, that's another thing you got to look at, or long marathon cardio bouts. That sometimes you'll hear people that train for marathons and actually gain weight. Well, the culprit there is cortisol. And so keep your stress levels with your exercise managed by going an hour less, and then also in your life, having outlets for your stress, knowing how to manage your time, planning downtime like massages or meditation or whatever you need to do to keep your body calm. But learning to deal with your stress, it's easier said than done, I know, but it's definitely a big factor when it comes to weight loss. And number 7, all this stuff sounds great, but you got to be planful and consistent. And I talk about this from experience. I hear people talk about wanting to lose weight, wanting to see changes in their body, and then they sign up for a group training class. They might come once one week, next week they make it 3 times, the next week we don't see them at all, the next week maybe they come once or twice. Get consistent, all right? If you can't make it 3 times, make it consistently twice a week. But we always tell people, hey, if you need to plan to exercise at least 3 times a week to see results. And 2 of those exercises should at least be strength training circuits. Like I said, we want to stimulate muscle tissue, which stimulates the metabolism. Get consistent with your exercise, and talk about your food too. A lot of people we want to get them on the Fitness Pal, and that's our nutrition logging site we use. So when you're getting on there, you want to be consistently logging, so you're conscious of what you're putting in your body each and every day. You need to take account of that. You got to track what you want to improve, and part of being consistent with that is having a plan. If you don't have, it's the old adage, if you don't have a plan, not having a plan is planning to fail. And so that means you got to have a day during the week where you shop and you cook and you prep for the week. And typically Sundays or Saturdays are good days to do that. When during the week it's hard. I know you have work and kids stuff, but be planful and have a plan mapped out for the week. Knowing if you're going to eat out, go online, look at the rest of the menu, and kind of figure out what are the good options you can have, so you're not blindsided when you go in there. And when you go into a restaurant, if you have to go out with clients or something for work, be okay with asking them to make modifications. Hold the fries and substitute out with steamed vegetables. You can do those kind of things. Consistency and being organized with your nutrition is going to be a key part to your success. Having snacks on you so you don't miss a snack, and then all of a sudden your blood sugar goes low, and then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, because you skipped one of your snacks, you're going to get really, really hungry. So those are some of the things we talk about too. Is just tracking your food, prepping and planning your week out ahead of time, and making sure that you're not just going into every day and just reacting to the day, because that doesn't work. Typically when people do that, they don't have good choices on board. If you don't have good food at home, it's much easier when you're done and you're tired from work to roll through the drive-thru or go out to eat and get something quick and easy. So you have to really put time into this nutrition thing. If you don't, you're not going to see the body changes that you want to see. So hopefully that helps you out. This is just a basic start for the fat loss thing. Log your food, work on these things, communicate with your coach. Your coach can go through these things with you as well. We look for all these things in food journals, but this is Nutrition 101, and this is to get you guys off on the right steps. So if you have any questions, please contact us or your coach, and thanks for being on the webinar.